What is going on, guys? It's RudoWavy, and today I want to show you guys an insane damage build in Remnant from the Ashes. You can do so much damage, your friends will complain that they didn't even touch the boss. This turns you into a one-man army, and it's one of the most fun builds I've used so far. So let's break it down and talk about what you need. Starting from the top, we have the submachine gun. This weapon is not needed for the build, but I highly recommend it. The reason I recommend it is because due to its rate of fire, it's one of the best weapons to use if you want your mods more frequently. Now, before I continue, it is important that we take into account, depending on a weapon's level, alters its damage. Since my submachine gun is maxed at 20, it'll do 21 damage. Yours may do something different, but it will always shoot 16 rounds per second and have a 35 magazine. It has really good accuracy, 13 meters ideal range, 245 max ammo, and has a 5% critical hit chance. Its description reads, a small caliber full automatic weapon with a decent magazine capacity and blazingly fast rate of fire, effective at close range. Now let's get into the mod that you want to put on this weapon. Explosive shot. Fires an explosive round that deals up to 1,566 damage within 4 meters. Now, I've noticed that mod damage can change according to the level of your weapon that you have it equipped to. So because my submachine gun is maxed, I do 1,566. Your mod might do something different. But this mod is one of the hardest hitting mods in the game. Be careful though, because you can hurt yourself and your teammates. This next weapon is needed for this build. Particle accelerator. Its description reads, a powerful semi-automatic alien rifle that shoots high velocity beams, effective at long range, and is equipped with a 3.5x scope. Double tap and hold whatever your button is assigned to zoom in with the scope. This is a boss weapon, so it only maxes out at 10. So my damage is 210. It has 1.5 rounds per second, a 5 magazine, decent accuracy, 30 meters ideal range, has 40 max ammo, and a 15% critical hit chance. This weapon is a semi-automatic, but due to its long zoom, it acts as a sniper as well, which really helps the build in a way that you'll see shortly. The reason you want to use this weapon is because of its mod gravity core. Fires a projectile which deals 326.2 damage and opens a gravity well for 5 seconds. Once unstable, it explodes, dealing up to 3,262.5 damage within 5 meters. Adds 1,957.5 damage per enemy and divides total damage among all enemies. If that confused you, think of it like this. The gun shoots a black hole, it pulls enemies in, and after 5 seconds, they no longer exist. This is a very good weapon and mod to use against large crowds, but also against single targets like bosses. But be careful, because just like explosive shot, this can harm you and your teammates, but this one can actually one-shot you. So remember, this weapon is needed for this build. Now let's get into our next weapon, which is the melee. Usually it's not important, but for this one it really is, and I'll explain why. This is the Butcher's Flail. It is a new weapon from the DLC, but it is also a boss weapon. Its description reads, a flail with a large metal striking head connected to a chain that deals corrosive damage. It is an unorthodox weapon meant to convert momentum into destruction. It converts slow startup into powerful swings and smashes, especially when attacks are charged. The reason why this weapon is so important to the build is its mod. Corrosive Strike has a 55% chance of applying the corroded effect, reducing the enemy's defense by 15% for 10 seconds. Charge attacks have a 100% chance of applying the corroded effect. So I want you guys to think about this. This applies a debuff on every enemy in the game by 15%. You are making them weaker. So no matter what you hit them with, you will automatically do more damage with it without any damage buffs. This weapon is so strong. If you're familiar with the mod Corrosive Aura, which you can equip on weapons, it basically creates an aura that cuts the enemy's defenses. This does the same thing, and all you have to do is hit them, and if you charge your melee, it's a guaranteed debuff. You always want to try to use this debuff before you attack. I haven't tried it on every boss, and I'm not sure if you can even melee every boss, but for all the ones that you can, if you do this first, you will see a major difference in your damage. Now let's move on to the thing that makes all of this work. This is a new armor set from the DLC, and it's called the Labyrinth set. Look at the mod on it. Power Surge increases total weapon mod damage, pulls scrap and iron materials towards the wearer. Now the second half isn't while we're using this, the first half is. Look at this. One piece plus 15% damage, two pieces plus 30, three pieces plus 50% damage. If you wear a 3-piece of this armor set, you gain plus 50% mod damage. Mods were already strong before, but now they introduced this. This seems too good to be true. Honestly, I haven't been able to put this armor set down. It's that good. But now we're gonna get deeper into this build with the rings and the amulets, and I want you guys to see something. This next piece is the icing on the cake. Gallonage Arm increases weapon mod damage by 30%. So the armor already gives you plus 50%, and now this gives you a bonus 30%. Now you can see where we're going with this. You use all of these things together, the synergy is ridiculous. This is one of the items that you always want to remember to have equipped when running this build. Now let's move on to the next item, and this one is very interesting. It is also a new item from the DLC. Gift of the Iskall. Mod power is generated slowly over time, but reduces the wearer's healing effectiveness by 25%. This is a very unique ring. If you're familiar with the Cultist armor set, it does the same thing. I think with a 3-piece, it stacks up to 50% mod power generation, but now you don't have to use the armor set. You can just throw this ring on and you generate all your mods slowly. Yes, your healing is reduced, but me personally, I spec'd a lot of traits into my healing effectiveness, so I don't see it. I'm not sure how it would be with you guys if you don't have your healing effectiveness upgraded, but I would suggest that if it's too much and you really do need the healing, then you can just swap this out for something like Stone of Balance that gives you just a flat damage buff, or Empowering Loop. Anything that will help you better. But for me, I love to use Gift of the Iskall because it helps me get those mods more frequently so I can do more damage. Now let's move on to the final piece that I chose to use. Heartseeker provides a 100% crit chance against non-aggressive enemies and increases crit damage by 15%. The reason I chose to use this is because on top of it being a good all-around ring for damage builds, it pairs really well with the particle accelerator in this situation, because we can scope in with the particle accelerator and use it as a sniper. We can see those enemies that are not aggressive, so we get that 100% crit chance, and since you get the bonus 15% crit damage, it goes hand in hand and you can pick off those enemies from a distance. This also really helps with the gravity core, which is the mod on the particle accelerator. When you shoot it, it tends to hit crits a lot, so this helps it do a lot more damage on top of all the mod damage that we have. This one is also one that you can swap out. I like to use this one for personal reasons, but if you guys find a ring that you want to use more, you can use that as well. There are a good wide range of options, but remember that we're trying to get the most damage out of our build. But yeah guys, that's gonna do it for the breakdown. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, don't be afraid to leave a like, and if you have any suggestions for future builds, you can leave them in the comment section. Now I'm just gonna let some gameplay roll of me using the build in action. I hope you guys are staying safe. This is RudoWavy. I'll see y'all in the next video.